Hi, everyone. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. I'm Bahar. I'm the co-founder of Case One. I'll just wait a couple of more minutes because it looks like some people are still logging in. But in the meantime, I'll just start with introducing myself and we'll get started with the presentation. So the topic of today's webinar is about the product that we launched at the end of last year, which combines all of our solutions into one simple platform. And we named it Legal Department of the New Generation and Legal Department 2.0, and I hope you guys like it as much as we do. This platform helps to reduce your workload tremendously, and we can implement it now right away without spending a lot of time or resources. So everything that you will see today, whether it's in the presentation or in the live demo, is available right away for immediate implementation. Looks like some more people have logged on. Let's just get started. I'm sure people will catch up as we go. So let's talk about what a typical day of a lawyer looks like. And I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this, and maybe your day looks like this. I hope not this crazy, but it's a very typical day. And it's loaded with a lot of paperwork, calls, emails, and anything else you can think of in between. Personal meetings, answering questions to bosses or clients. And as you continue to perform these tasks that need your immediate attention, questions and requests keep coming in throughout the day. And this is usually what an in-house lawyer or even an outside counsel's day looks like as an attorney. These disruptions are really destructive to your focus and work. And you're aware that as these interruptions, just small questions and interruptions come in, these distractions significantly lower productivity throughout the day. And most people end up spending hours at night when it's finally quiet and there's no one in the office or no phone calls coming in to catch up with the actual work. And we also know that we can't multitask. I mean, nobody can. We say we can, but at any given time, there is about one task that you can do, not 5 simultaneously. And to be going through this disruptive workday and the constant cutoffs, it's wasting a lot of valuable attorneys' time. So this is why at Case One, we started to come up with a way to implement a self-service legal portal that will be accessible to any employee in the company for any participant in the process, with the goal of not distracting attorneys for routine work. And this routine work can be anything as we get into it later. Maybe it's document creation to make it available for the team. Maybe there are a lot of repetitive and simple questions that maybe even Google can answer. But in this case, a lot of these disruptions can be addressed within the same platform. So what if you could automate 95% of all of your processes? What would that day look like for you, and what would you do with all of that extra time? And what if we could automate all of that for you? We did a survey with some of our most popular and biggest clients, and this survey showed that there are 3 key challenges that would benefit the most from automation. These are document drafting, legal advice, and litigation and case management. And this is not restricted to just litigation. This is any cases. So we found that 95% of all documents and templates can be automated. We also found that in 70% of circumstances, we can automate the Q&A with colleagues and some simple advices or compliance procedures through just our chatbot for legal advice. And over 50% of processes, and in some practice areas, we could reach up to 95%, but at the minimum, 50% of all processes in litigation cases, and not just litigation, in any matter management, handled even M&A deals, regulatory and compliance, and other transactional work like contract assembly and approval process. All of this can be automated. And keep in mind, at the very least, we're talking about 50%, and at most, our highest success has been with some transactional practice areas like immigration of up to 95% automation. So over communication is a waste of time and costs a lot of money. But sometimes it's not just over communication. Sometimes under communication is a problem, and under communication leads to a lot of project failures. But over communication is also just as big of a problem. For example, you can receive an email from a colleague or a phone call to ask you to do something, and then you will start receiving the same follow-up process. Is it done yet? What's the status? A text message, a phone call, an email, and you may not answer all of them, but the fact that these are coming in, it's disruptions to your workday. And it doesn't make that request any less important, because that status and the result is what your colleague is expecting, relying on that promise. But it's still a disruption to the workday, and it's still an ongoing process that has to kind of run its course while you get to it and finish your task. So we decided that we can move all of the employees and the companies within the enterprise to one self-service portal where they can choose the legal services they need and get answers themselves without distracting anybody else. And that this is how exactly it would look for any of you who are interested in implementing this software. All the active cases are accessible, and these could be simple requests, a simple legal advice or question that was posted, a simple document that was drafted. It doesn't matter. Everything is organized in one place. Each employee has their own individual portal, and within this portal, they're able to not only see all the old archive cases as you see at the bottom here, but also to begin new ones and to communicate with you, to exchange documents with you. All of the work is done in this one place. So they're able to also check the status of the request submitted or follow through and find their own answer. So we all work with some experienced people that are our go-to people or know our processes or our company's processes really well. And these are our superstar lawyers in the team or other members of the staff. And we always want to go to this same people because it makes the process faster. They already understand what we need. They already know our internal processes. But sometimes these people leave, and their experience and the process and everything that they created leave with them. Unfortunately, we can't clone people yet, but we can clone the process and experience and knowledge within the portal and make it easy to use and accessible for the future team, whether it's a new legal team or the rest of the company, that you can keep going back and preserve the same style of doing business as you were doing before. So within the portal, you can create as many legal services as you see. There are some choices up top. When you go to the legal services section, the employees of the company can really access any of these services. And this catalog can include, document templates, legal advices, and other documents like NDAs, non-competes, IP ownership, sales agreements, automated legal hold requests where they need to be filled, any sort of application, anything you can think of. It could even launch a process of reporting an injury or a claim, anything from one-step process or document to a full-on process that you're working with an attorney or HR with, like, for example, an injury where there's a lot of documents going back and forth and there's a lot of contact back and forth. All of that could be accommodated in this one platform. And you're able to group these documents or specific topics together. And in this case, you don't need to have any IT experience to do this. And I should have mentioned this earlier. Not that it's just easy to implement and it's out of the box, but none of our softwares require any IT involvement, any coding or programming experience. Everything is done just on the interface with some drag and drop and very simple and easy to use tools. And before I forget, I will mention, as I'm going through the presentation, you'll see a QR code on the corners of every page, sometimes on the right side, sometimes on the left side. You can just take your phone and turn on the camera and take a picture of that. This will take you to a live chat with me, and I can answer any questions that you have, whether it's after the call about any of the slides we're going through. And there's also the chat window right here with Zoom capabilities. If you look at the bar, there's a chat window, and I have that open, and I can read questions and answer along as we go. Most likely we'll have a Q&A session at the end of the call for about 20 minutes. So feel free to post your questions here or message me privately using the QR code that's linked to a bot link. And I think somebody can post it also on this chat just in case it doesn't work on your phones, which it will, I promise. So let's move on, switching to small questions. So we touched on this a little bit earlier. Often you're in the middle of a task and something really important. You grab your coffee, you grab your papers, and you sit down and you begin working on this complex issue, and the phone rings. You answer the phone, you answer the question, and sometimes it's not even an urgent question and it could have waited while you finish what you were doing, but you picked up the phone anyway, so you answered anyway and got distracted from what you were doing. And now you're, warming up your coffee and sitting back down to go back to the task that you were gonna do. We have a lot of these kinds of distractions throughout the day, and they can reduce your productivity by as much as 40%. And after these kinds of distractions, it's really difficult to go straight back to what you were doing before and gather your thoughts and remember exactly where you left off. And most of the work that we do as attorneys is analysis and strategy and a lot of thought process, and you start mapping it out. So when you get distracted, it's really difficult to come back and pick back up where you left off and remember all of your own thoughts. So in our case, all of these small questions can be directed within the portal in the legal advice section of the bot. Employees can get answers to routine legal questions or even just general questions without the attorney's live participation. These are pre-built scenarios that a person can go through. But if the chatbot doesn't know the answer, then it just reaches out to the attorney or another colleague who would have this answer. And it could either be an immediate, take over live and respond, or you can come back to it and respond to this question. So essentially just treat it as not just a mini, robotic copy of you, legal advisor, but also your assistant who's organizing you and who's organizing your calendar and keeping you protected with this wall of distractions, of ongoing distractions. So copy pasting. I'm still guilty of this. I know a lot of you are as well. We love templates. We love languages we can reuse. We have our best clauses that we grab from different places or petitions. But in most cases, drafting documents is just the mundane routine process of copy pasting from existing documents or starting from scratch. And there is no need to tie up an attorney's time in these circumstances. We have a good example that we can shift the responsibility of preparing, for example, typical sales contracts or a non-disclosure agreement or any other template that you can think of through the portal, where the employee can go in themselves, be locked into this amazing template that you've built with the language that you've accumulated from your best attorneys over the years, and you can create this template and make it accessible on the portal. In this case, the employees can log into their portal, select the document they're looking for from the catalog, and they answer the questions, fill out the information, as you can see on the right-hand bar, answer these questions, fill out the information, and issue the document and either download it, or we can put this through a whole approval process. But none of this is going without your eyes on hand. You understand who created a document, what they did with this document, and there's no changes and small mistakes that could be made to the text of this document as they go. So a lot of generic documents don't require an attorney's expertise, and all of those standard templates are things that we could automate, and we can even make more complicated scenarios that require a little bit of approval process throughout. So every case contains up to 95% standard business processes. And this is what I mentioned before. It's not the same as having 95% automation, but every matter, any general document drafting, anything that we handle, it's attached to a business process, which is this handoff process of picking this up, drafting this, to giving it to somebody else, or emailing it and chasing the signature and saving it somewhere. These are all processes that are very easy to automate. And the most complicated way of delivering legal services are really having to handle matters that last a little while longer. But it's interesting that in almost every case, there are these standard business processes that are even similar to whether it's litigation or transactional, whatever you're doing, they're still similar. You're still working in a similar way with your team and with documents and everything. So in a lot of situations, these processes are not related to a specific legal service being provided, and an attorney is essentially acting as specialist and project management within that area. It's assigning and reassigning to legal staff or outside counsel or employees or clients, and making sure that all of the T's are crossed and everything is in order. And they're essentially an admin of the process. So in our system, every case in our portal, every case includes tailored chats, tasks, custom folder structures, and a progress bar that you see on the left to understand really where we are within this matter. So it makes the involvement of any of the third parties, whoever else is involved in the case, much more connected and much more involved in the case. And we're able to shift some tasks and responsibilities on the current and existing human resource that's available. So you can use the chatbot function, for example, if you're about to sign a contract and you need to get some information from your client, or it can even done in a self-service format by asking all of this information, like data entry part of it, to auto-assemble a document that you were drafting. And in a traditional sense, maybe this information was being collected back and forth through email or phone calls or some exchange of data. But in this case, it's inputted one time accurately from whoever you're gathering this information from, and the same information is used to auto-populate and generate the document or into a process that you're going through. So participants in case usually forget important tasks. This is very common when we're relying on people to track, each person track their own steps, and when these steps are kind of dependent or conditioned on other people's tasks and steps, it makes it complicated because one person's missed deadline of their own task tracking could affect the whole row of people down the road and stretch the deadline or complicate things a lot. And many times you're asked to provide some additional information about a particular case or some additional documentation that you're still missing. And who would be responsible to really track this down? In this situation, people can find their own specific tasks, and no one needs to be distracted. The tasks are directly assigned to the stakeholder of whoever is responsible for this task, and reminders are generated automatically based on your own preferences and settings to remind this person to get their task done. And once these tasks are done, it plays into an entire workflow of processes of whoever else is involved. Within the same portal, obviously there is document uploading available, so collection of documents and files, as well as collection of any data. I'm guilty of this. There's never enough time to organize and manage files and folders. We're in a day and age where we're on the go, and you check your email on your phone, and you have every intention of saving it in the correct place or folder, but it doesn't happen that often. And when you're getting things thrown at you from all sorts of different ways, sometimes things are coming in regular mail, email, all of the communication apps and messengers, it's really hard to keep organized and keep everything in one place. But if you have a folder subfolder structure that's already pre-created, And it's organized in that way every time, and the other party who's supposed to give you this information has access to it. All of this back and forth is eliminated, and it saves you a lot of time and headache and having to do this manual work of clerking and filing on your own. We can also collect some of this documentation through a chatbot to get the missing documents and upload it and save it in the correct folder. So again, in this place, in this specific use case, it's acting really as your assistant, this platform and portals. And users are able to organize their files themselves on their own, whether it's in pre-created folders or not. The last thing, well, not the last thing, the last really important employee-related thing is 31% of US employees work remotely, 4 to 5 days a week. In some companies, it's more. I know a lot of legal teams who work fully remotely outside of the headquarters, and this creates an accessibility issue. And if they may need to access a document, or they may need to access something, I'm sure with security protocols in place, it might not be that easy, or it's disruptive to other people's workday. We've solved that problem by creating a secure app that your employees can access from anywhere, as long as they've been granted permissions to access it. And this app really provides all of the functionality of the portal that we've been going through in a really user-friendly interface. And this, last but not least, here we are. Legal processes can be uninspiring and colorless and paper-based. We get a lot of these feedback that law is boring and law processes are boring. We disagree. We think it's very logical, and it's a pattern that's more than capable of being very automated. So it's very exciting. But we can also help you add your own brand identity to this portal and customize the portal with your own corporate colors and logo, and create these product packages to really inspire your team to be more involved and put in a little bit of effort in the process, taking work off of your desk. So I know I gave a lot of examples as we were going through, but the system is really limitless. So as long as your creativity is limitless, you can really create anything. You can take any legal services and find a way to automate it using the same platform. These are just some of the examples. All throughout personal injury and workers' compensation cases, that whole process can be automated. Immigration, generating non-competes, employment agreements, non-disclosure agreements are really popular with one click, non-solicitation agreements, just a lot. We can automate any of your legal services. So just let your imagination run wild. And all of this we do based on our own 4 integrated products. So we offer 4 products or modules that we can custom create a portal for. All of these are already fully integrated and connected with each other. There is no additional custom development, none of this concerns that can this communicate with that, or have this in place. It's all in one, and all of the capability and all of the data can be utilized to automate many processes, not just sit in one flat Excel sheet or database where you can't do anything with. So we have 3,000 clients worldwide currently. Many are implementing or have already implemented this self-service portal. The legal advice bot is extremely exciting for most of them and for us. And almost all of our softwares are offered in any language, which is great because a lot of legal departments are able to bring in their foreign counterparts and have a better collaboration platform to work with their global team. So again, the QR code is at the bottom. Just point your phone camera, your iPhone camera, any camera to it, and I'll open a link to a live chat to chat with me and send me any of your following questions. And that will be your first experience with our bot and our technology. So I'll pause here for just a couple of questions, and then I would like to actually show you guys live how everything works and show you a few examples. Let's see our questions. So this is a very good question about our pricing model. I will go into more detail at the end, but it's modular based. It's a combination of number of users and usage. We don't do licenses. We want to encourage you to bring your whole team and take advantage of the software. So the pricing is extremely fair, and it depends on your company size. And I'm sure somebody will be happy to go into specifics with you after the webinar. How can we get access to this recording? It will be uploaded on YouTube as a video as soon as we're done. It should be up within the next couple of days, and you'll get a email with a link to follow. So if we're ready, let's begin this live share, and you guys let me know if you can see my screen. Maybe not yet. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Although I missed the chat window. Yes, good. So everybody can see my screen. So here is the, just an example. This is a demo version. It's just an example of the portal. So when you first log into the portal as an employee, and right now I'm playing the role of an employee in the company, and what they would see as they're in the system, as I switch roles to show you the back end of how you would work as an attorney, I will make sure to clarify that. And if I lose anyone in the meantime, I'm keeping track of the chat, so just send me a quick message. So within the portal, you have many options. In this specific instance, we just have added a few options, but we can have, if you're a law firm, you could add in your own payment information and a lot more. It's fully customizable. But in this case, when an employee first logs in, they're able to see any active cases that they currently have. And if you recall from the presentation, they're also able to see any archived questions, cases, matters. We can call them anything. Let's just call them projects to be able to use a simple word for it, but everything is accessible right in the same page. So within this, there are legal services that are provided, and there are Ask a Lawyer option, and I'll start going through them one by one. So within the legal services tab, you're able to create any practice areas and any documents. This could be, one second. So we have access to, again, all of the active or archived cases at the bottom, and legal services. So these legal services could be anything, could be a huge list. In this case, we have business immigration documents, but in other cases, there could be many, many lists of products that are listed. I guess I waited too long and I got logged out of everything, but we can create any product. We can take your process, current process, and create any sort of legal services. So what I do want to show you is one of the simplest use cases of the platform, which is to just create a simple document. In this case, it's a work injury report. It's just a simple format that we grabbed and we build out, but this could be a sales contract, a non-disclosure agreement, an employment agreement, anything that it is. You have your template available, and all that the employee is doing is typing in their information as they go. So as you see, as I'm typing the company address, everything is being updated. And the other best thing about this software is that we can ask conditional questions and answers. So for example, did the employee require medical attention? Yes, no. And as I'm changing this, you can see that the document is changing. So some of the more complex use cases of these conditions are, for example, choice of law. You can select the state of residency and we adjust the clause, or we can say, alternative dispute resolution method, is it mediation, arbitration, and as these selections are made, the language in the document changes. So this is one way of producing a document. It's very simple, it's very user-friendly. The document is visible as the employee is working in the side panel, the document is also visible. The second way that's a little bit more exciting to use this is to use the bot to generate an agreement. But before we get there, I just want to show you how the legal advice would work. And again, with the bot, it would be a similar way. So in this case, we're saying welcome and answer the right questions. So for you guys, it could, for in-house attorneys, this could be anything. Maybe it's a compliance or regulatory problem. It's labor law related issue. It's an immigration business. Whatever it is, we can build this bot out and you chat live, and you can adjust the coloring as we mentioned before and photos, and you can choose any of the pretty things that we discussed. But within the process, you can make a decision tree and just walk the person down. So in this case, we're saying select your category. You select your category, and we keep going through this decision tree. Within the same process, you can ask for additional information for them to type in. They can drag and drop a document or file to give you, and they can generate and download a document from something that we ended up generating on the back end. So the legal advice is extremely flexible and can be used for anything. One of the most interesting use cases that we recently implemented was for compliance use and also to do full due diligence. We have a client also who's implementing it for just a simple legal hold process, to have their team members log into the portal, answer some questions, generate the document and sign it and collect and save that for legal hold. And we do a lot more things like the actual legal hold process, but for this is just the initial start. So we've gone through two things so far. We saw how a document is generated. We saw how we could just automate kind of legal advice and answering some questions. And now we will start with a simple non-disclosure agreement. So this is a great example of just any document. It's a simple document. It requires signature collection and how the process starts. So in this case, you would have a catalog of all of your services that you want to make available as a do-it-yourself process or self-service. And all the employee has to do is click on this and get started. So this is the second way of document generation. This non-disclosure agreement could be within the same document assembly as we saw with the work injury report. But in this case, we want to use a bot to collect this information, not to show the legal document, to make it really simple. So we select a non-standard, a standard NDA. In this case, we start collecting some information. And as you see, it's explaining the process within this chatbot that you can customize the standard agreement. We will complete the form. We will execute with e-signature and make it available either for a download or just save it on the attorney side or give it access in the document section. This non-disclosure agreement is also following a full process. So within this case, it also has a progress bar on the side. It shows the stages of where they are and where they're going. So there's a little bit of oversight to walk a person through. It's also attached to what we discussed before of any additional tasks that you can assign to a person or any additional documents to download or upload from, let's say, for example, after a review process. So back to this case, let's just pick a date. And it will go into effect, let's say May 2020. Case one. Street address, let's just get through. Irvine. And all of these questions are customizable. Like I said, anything we do in a bot is customizable. So this is just a generic workflow that we have. I want to give a phone number. Definitely don't have a fax number. So at this point, the bot is collecting my email address. With the collection of this email address, we're getting, once we're done with the process, in this particular demo, we have a DocuSign integration, and it could be any other signature client, but in this particular case, it's DocuSign. That's the reason my email was collected. Once all of this information is done with the bot, I will receive a link in my email from DocuSign to follow through for full signature process, which I will give you guys in a few minutes. I will show you. So let's leave it here. We don't need to go through the full bot. It'll take a little while, but now I want to show you the back end of it. So at this point, this will be the view of you guys as attorneys and how you would work in the system. As you see, when I started a case, when I clicked on the non-disclosure agreement, there was a case that was created within the case management platform. And I will go through a little bit more detail if we have time on this side, but I just want to finish out going through the process. So let me go in this. I already got my DocuSign email notification. I don't think you guys can see it, but anyway, a case was created. The information that was collected was used to fill in the case part, the information, and we can even track many more things like the date of the execution, the term of this agreement, and attach that to renewal reminders or any other reports and analytics that you can pull from. That's the beauty of the summary sheet, but we can go into that later. We have the stages up top, which is also related to the stages that we had here within the portal for the employee to see. I will come back to this, but the non-disclosure agreement was already created and ready now. And we also create a contact within the same platform and save all of the information for your future use of who this person was, for any future conflict check, whatever it is, we preserve this information. We also create a task list of what the approval workflow process would be of how to handle the specific contract document. You know, it could be a start of a case. It doesn't matter. Just understand that this process is limitless in terms of what we can take and build a workflow with. So these tasks were automatically generated. It could be to an internal team. It could also have something for the employee, which they will see in their portal task list if you assign them anything. And we would have relevant due dates and priority level of every task. And these are all pre-built. The assignees could be an individual person, a group of people, a practice group, or staff members. It doesn't matter. You get to choose how you want this created. At the same time, we create a folder-subfolder structure. In this case, it was a non-disclosure agreement. We had chosen beforehand to create a folder called non-disclosure, and we saved the generated agreement inside. So let's preview this. So this is a non-disclosure agreement. As you see, it has my information at case one. This is everything that I filled out with the bot, and this is just our standard template agreement. It has all of the addresses, and this is the unsigned version that's dated. Once I receive the DocuSign link, which I did, and I click on and actually sign the document, we grab a signed version of the document as well, create a new folder automatically, and save the signed version in here. So all of this, as you saw, I was working on the other side and this side, it's all in real time. So as this is happening, you don't have to follow any processes. All of this is done, and you can go in and check, for example, filter all cases created in the last hour, or all cases created today, and bulk check if need be or anything. So this was a little bit about the back end of the case management. It's a fully very feature-rich matter management system with built-in reporting and analytics. So not only are you getting the full portal with all of the functionality for your team, you're also getting everything on the back end to manage your work and processes inside as well. So the last thing that I want to show, and then I will stop and open it for questions, we're already at 12:40, is how to build that legal advice bot for you guys to really understand the functionality and the ease of use. So this is a bot that I've pre-built. This is actually the back end of that non-disclosure agreement that we just went through. And as you see, it's just simple decision trees. And all you have to do is in the interface is you select whether it's a message, so it will be a message pop-up. If it's a selection, so if you want to present choices like how we have here, these are 3 selections or choices, or this yes or no. We have go-to function, so you don't have to keep building the same decision tree. If the answer is no here, and it would be the same as, let's say here, you just use the go-to function. I guess, again, I waited too long. So you just use the go-to function and you connect it to any other place in the decision tree. Other things that you can do inside is to be able to set appointments. It's integrated with your calendar. We also have integrations with payment accounts. If you need to collect payment, it's rare for in-house to use that, but it's available for law firms as an option. And the webhook options are just really to be able to grab data or push data into any other system that you have in place. So this is our way of connecting with any of your homegrown softwares or anything else where we don't have to go through a really costly integration. It's our way of fitting, maybe a piece of this platform in that might be useful for you. So that's all I have to show. I will pull up the questions right now, and if there's anything else that you guys want to see, feel free to, again, post it in the questions, and I will pull back up a live chat. Can you share? Yes, you can share with as many participants. We can group participants. For example, you can, some of our clients are using this same platform with their interactions with outside counsel and management, and not necessarily the self-service portal, but you can invite them to work in the same platform and you can group users together. Some are using the portal, for example, for outside parties to generate their own non-disclosure agreements, for example, investors or whoever else it is. It doesn't just have to be you and your employee. It's you and your collaboration with any other party. Do you know if this works with voice-to-text drag and speaking naturally law version software? I'm going to say yes. We also have an integration with Alexa, so you can talk to our software as you please. You can tell it to create tasks, so way more than just dictation. You can tell it to actually command it to do things like, Alexa, tell case 1 to read to me what's on my calendar today, or what are my tasks, or close this task. So there's a lot you can do in the system. Are field sets, or can they be customized? All the fields that you saw in the system, all of them can be customized. It's actually the best use case of the software. Let me go to where it's really important to see. So the one that we created was just the non-disclosure agreement one. In this case, it's a legal advice one that was created. I want to choose a different practice area to be able to show you and better answer your question. Let's just create a case. I will create an immigration one because this summary sheet is really long and it would really showcase. So if you remember seeing the non-disclosure agreement, it only had one data block. In this case, it has many, and you can hide them, you can open them, collapse them, whatever it is that you do. And we can make these data blocks dependent on the stages. For example, in the non-disclosure agreement, we have stages in, let's say, negotiating, sign, whatever, that you can see a variation of what you would like to track. But really the beauty and the best thing, the most powerful thing about the summary sheet is you can pull custom reports in real time from any of these data fields. So if you want to, for example, do your use the system for your diversity initiatives, we're able to create a data block with all of the information that you want to track within the case, and you can track also the attorney's, diversity background or whatever you want, and pull the report on the back end to know exactly what's happening in every case and your team, whatever it is. You can track any information and pull real-time data, which is extremely important. So we could, with the summary sheet and with the case management, if you don't have a lot of software implemented and the portal might be a little bit too big of a bite for you, there are things that could be implemented separate from each other. For example, the bot on its own with this legal advice, or this matter management to get rid of all of your manual reporting and Excel tracking of cases and the manual bill review. There's a lot of functionality built in inside that can be used. More questions. Do you have billing capabilities? Absolutely. We have full built-in billing and time tracking. It can be used for internal time tracking. It could be used for outside counsel, time tracking, invoice creation, bill review, and payment acceptance or submission. So we have a full featured billing software as well. So since I don't see a lot of other questions, I'm going to point out a couple of other areas that are super cool to me. From the portal, you can do anything, right? An employee in the company can ask for legal advice, can open a new matter, can do anything. Those requests come right at your fingertips in real time. So you can take in the requests, review them, open matters from them, answer questions from them, anything you want to do. As far as the chatbot, yes. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. This was a good question. Yes, you can customize your invoices. You can put your own logo. You decide what you want to see on it, kind of how it looks. We actually just treat it as just another template to automate, and we pull the right information and put it where you want to see it. The billing codes and the descriptions are also all customizable. We support leads billing, so our billing system is pretty full featured. So while I have you guys here, I will just show you one of my favorite things, which are reports. And I mentioned that you can build any reports in real time. Our software is more relevant or similar to, let's say, an Oracle and SAP. You have, general case management or very fragmented softwares like document assembly or something at the bottom, and then you have the Oracle or SAP up here, where it's time consuming to custom create anything, it's expensive, blah, blah, blah. We sit somewhere in the middle. So we have a lot of capabilities of customizations and, really changing everything inside, but we do it with just a few clicks, right in the interface, and you do it in real time. So that's the reason why we're modular based. We're not fully custom, but we have a lot of modules, which are the products that we talked about that are integrated together. So to create a report, it's just a few clicks. You're able to pick, your columns, and you're able to pick what filters you want to see, and that's it. You create your report. And within the report section, all of the reports are saved. They're updated in real time. So in an old-fashioned way, if you want to use Excel to track your cases, by the time you get case status reports on all of them, the report is out of date because that first case had something happen to it that didn't make it on the report. In our case, we're pulling data in real time from the data that's already available in the software. And it comes preloaded with some standard reports, but we can custom create any, or you yourself can custom create any report in the system with just a few clicks. Yes. You can absolutely do that. You can create auto reports. You can have them mailed to you. You can choose, for example, I want this productivity report emailed to me once a week, and you will get that in either an Excel or a CSV file. You can download, you can review, you can just check in your email, but the live version also sits in your instance, in your case one instance. We also have phone apps. So you're able to utilize the phone app to access any information in your account. Weekly reports, emails to distribution list. Yes, we answered that. So keep going with your questions. I think it's really helpful to showcase really what we can do. Think of us as more of a consultant and custom development company. We do customize a lot within the platform that you get without the custom pricing. Our pricing is extremely competitive, and we specialize in implementing softwares for legal departments. So we have a lot of already built out workflows and templates that we're able to share with you. We're able to guide you through your legal design process. We do help with design automation workshops for companies a lot. So if that's something you're interested in utilizing before you decide what you're ready to buy, I highly recommend that. We have extremely knowledgeable engineers inside, and that's who you would be working with actual designers and engineers versus salespeople. No disrespect, they're my favorite, but at the end of the day, if you need to understand what you need to implement, we will make our resources available for you. There is absolutely no coding involved or any technical skills to develop any workflows. You can do it right in the interface. I can show you. It looks exactly like how our chatbot builder looks. You build everything yourself right in the interface. Let's go back to it. And it looks exactly like our chatbot builder. So you can build your own workflow and add in any of your own specific processes inside of your legal department. I will reshare the QR code. Thank you. So I also want to mention about the giveaway. I posted the link earlier, and it's been posted a couple of times since then. Please click on that link. I think we already chose a winner. But anyway, please click on the link, fill in some information. We will do additional giveaways for after the webinar, and those will be more substantial giveaways, like a subscription to Form 1, which is our chatbot builder. We'll give away a 3-month subscription. So go ahead and use the same link, and we will announce that winner in the next week or so. We will create you your own account, fully complimentary, and you can have unlimited usage and really test it for yourself, for your internal team, how our chatbot builder works and the massive amount of work that can be automated with the bot. So the QR code is right there. Take a picture of it. Chat with me. I will personally answer all of the questions live. There's an open text at the end of the bot to ask me any questions. If it's about some sort of design, if it's about specific processes in your own company, I will personally respond and continue on my conversation with you. So that's really the best way to get a hold of me. And even LinkedIn or email is fine, but the bot is the best way. I'll get immediate notifications. So it looks like we're getting a message that a lot of people didn't list their names and emails. Please list your name and email so we have a way of getting in contact with you to let you know that you won, and also to answer any specific questions that you may have. If you post any questions on the bot for me, come back to it periodically whenever you want to check it, and you will see my response. You'll also get an email notification if I post anything for you in response. We have about 7 minutes. Thank you for staying with so many of you for staying with me the whole time. I'll stay until the end and answer any questions any additional questions that you may have. If you want to see something else in the next few minutes while I'm still here, I'll be happy to show you. So while I'm waiting for questions, I will just share my screen and show you a couple of more things. What I do want to show you, and it might not be relevant to everyone, but not only have we implemented our software for legal departments, but us ourselves have built a fully robotic law firm based on our own technology. And I just want to show you, we call it Second Law. That's our company name. And this is the law firm's information. This is the only thing I want to show you of the difference in price point by just implementing technology. In our case, this is a fun project for us to showcase our platform. So we've decided to pass on all of our savings to our clients. I'm a practicing attorney, so I still have my law firms, which is now Second Law. But in a traditional law firm, for example, for O1 visa, the cost is at a minimum $6K plus. In our case, it's only $14.99. And we've been able to pass off our 75% savings onto the clients directly. We're not, trying to build a big law firm, but it's just showing of how much more efficient you can be and all of the savings that are available by just implementing technology, by just automating some routine processes. Is this just to present? Everything that I showed today has been live. Everything is available for immediate implementation and usage. It's not just to present if these are actually our live accounts that we use regularly. So take a look at case one on our website, take a look at Second Law, reach out to our engineers to schedule your design session. I think it could be really helpful. We hold these workshops company-wide, remotely, of course. So utilize your 1 or 2 hours, depending on your company size. It's either 1 or 2 hours that we could give you complimentary to do a full legal design, automation design process, and understand you're not required to buy our products, but it's a really good way of starting your technology initiatives in your company, understanding costs, building, your 2, 3, 5-year plan of where you want to be in terms of automations, and have this initiative to bring to life. No problem. You can just click on my name and send me your question privately if you want. Somebody just asked if it's all public or private. You can go ahead and add it. And maybe I didn't announce the winner and I was supposed to. Eli Valentin. I'm sorry if I butchered the pronunciation of your name, but you're the winner. Somebody will contact you. Please get in touch with us to get the gift card. And to everybody else, thank you so much for attending and staying for so long. These were great questions. I really enjoyed this session. It was way more interactive than what I'm used to. So it's all great. If you want to have a demo with me personally of anything, that's also a really good place. The QR code and the chat is the best place to request it with me. I get notifications immediately. We will send you guys an email with the recording. Again, thank you for spending your lunch with me. I hope to speak to all of you soon. Thank you. Bye, guys.